and storms down by the shore, pirates in the port of paradise. Hey, ruined mariners marinated, swinging one north with their heads big or sore. Viscera and gore in paradise. Pirates in the bay, taking what they may, yarn and gold aboard what decorates indoors, taking home decor. Please not a word more, it's the pirates of paradise!
Or pure.
There we are. How are you doing this morning, John Woods?
I'm doing decent, all things considered. Today's my off day. And on my off day, it would seem I sleep in and then think about, has Jeff Bezos ever done a podcast? And go, fuck, I don't think so. Because honestly, there's like a certain, I've been really on like an Eric Weinstein kick recently. Weinstein, that one, the one kick.
The one who's not, the one who didn't, the one who never.
He treats every podcast he does like, oh no, I'm being fucking tortured and held underwater.
He really does, man.
Podcast. You know how fucking much my time is worth? I work for a hedge fund.
He really does. Like, here we have. If I came out with a new theory of everything, I'd probably be really up my own ass. In fact, as a result of all the information you have to gather, the knowledge and skill you have to have in order to even produce a theory of everything that could be falsified, probably you end up being up your own ass. I imagine that psychological phenotype just intersects the different versions of an asshole.
I found out yesterday Ted Cruz has a podcast and Eric Weinstein's done an episode.
Whoa. What is it like, man?
Well, because he's been doing like a bunch of these like Unity 2020. Whatever that means.
Like in terms of his his theory being called geometric unity.
Yeah, I suppose, but it as like a proxy for like American unity. I think more so. But he's doing like a bunch of like he did Glenn Beck's talk show, and he was just like, okay, so like I have the same policy here that I have when I go on Fox, which is I'll go on Fox, but I'm going to call it a propaganda network, and I'm going to call the person on it like a useful idiot, fucking tool of an establishment that they don't really understand. And so that was fun. Except it was refreshing to see like a criticism sitting in a chair next to Ted Cruz that wasn't like your mom's the fucking killed Kennedy.
You're the Zodiac killer. You should be in jail.
It was refreshing.
I think that's definitely having someone on your podcast who's like, nah, we actually really hard disagree. But we're still having a civil discourse that many people can observe is, I guess, a powerful thing that Joe Rogan sort of pioneered. I feel like Joe Rogan doesn't hard disagree with all that many people. No offense to Joe Rogan. Technically doesn't understand science. But do you think we can trick? What's the lowest level politician you think we could trick on having on the podcast? Like, who, like, do you think it'll check our view count? Like, I know that's really easy, and they have an assistant probably our age, or at least digitally native, who might check our view count. But if we're like, Pirates of Paradise podcast, we've got all these new features, we got this new format, like we come at them.
Lowest level, I would say Tiger King before the dude got locked up and then got a documentary made about him, because he was like running for governor or something, right?
Fair, yeah.
Like, yeah, some sort of.
Oh, you don't think we could get like the sheriff of State College?
We probably could.
Exactly. No,
well,
that's
actually,
what I'm saying.
Even that.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Might not be legally advised to do press tours at the moment.
This is true. Okay, not the Attorney General. Definitely not. I was going to say not the Surgeon General either, but like, I don't know. Maybe I feel like we get a public health official on a podcast.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. We could get a public health official for sure.
A public health official.
Yeah. And official.
Yeah, and official.
That's and official. Yeah. Next episode.
The Pennsylvania Secretary podcasts.
Correct.
in Harrisburg listen to all of them. That's it.
We could definitely get like Kellen's Harrisburg contracted dad on here at some point, probably.
Whoa, I had no idea that Kellen had a Harrisburg
Yeah,
contract.
I won't say just I think currently at this moment is on a contract with the city of Harrisburg to just remove like a bunch of lead paint and sort of like cancer asbestos from homes,
Sick.
and that's his whole
That's really tight.
vibe. Yeah.
I was talking to Kellen recently about how it's more. I was interacting with someone who said that cell phones give you cancer, right? And I am not a scientist. I'd like to preface that. A large part of this podcast is based on the fact that neither of us are scientists. But I would be more willing to accept that something about metropolitan areas above a certain size gives you cancer before I'm willing to accept that cell phones in a vacuum give you cancer. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'd be willing to accept that everything we touch has carcinogens on it. Like, it turns out there's a couple industrial processes that interact with nearly 99% of your objects, and, well, cancer.
I would say at least 50% of things. 'Cause seeing as like the ways you die are like haephilic limit or cancer, right? Like those are the two main things, other than like I think of natural causes at least, other than hit by bus.
Yeah, shit that's not like shit that isn't suicide and car accidents is I think. Well, I believe the deaths that are suicides and car accidents are like 1% of the deaths. All the rest of them are just
your cells grow too much. Your cells don't grow enough.
This is true. So I don't know. Oh, but that is really interesting.
It is really interesting. Like, I guess. I suppose I wonder like how many suicides are attributable to like car accident or something, or like you get like a cancer diagnosis and you're like because like I mean at least in the U.S. that you have to consider that potentiality just because like we don't have.
Well, I don't know that you. I don't know that you do. I don't know that seems. I think 1% is a lot. Like 1%, especially like 330 million people, is a lot of people.
Threshold is for sure.
But I don't know that the overlap between those categories is significant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, in that I figure that the other deaths dwarf those deaths by such a large degree that finding correlations between those, like the vast majority of deaths and the small minority of deaths, seems like inevitable along some path.
Oh yeah.
And
inevitable, but significant is the key.
Exactly. Like definitely, yeah. Like if we were feeling conspiratorial, I'm sure we could really put it together. We were like, nah, all the suicides were caused by one car accident in 1970, dog. I know.
Butterfly effect, indeed. Yeah.
The butterfly effect is real and heavy.
Butterfly doors. Space Coupe looked like a UFO. I forget what the rest of that song goes like, but it's probably good. Probably good that I don't.
No, speaking of song lyrics, John, let me hit you with some verse from not the Bard, but the MC Rard. This is just the outro. Fuck boom blam, fuck damn blue, fuck boom blam, fuck new glam, fuck glam new, fuck goon gland, fuck fluke flam, fuck flam fluke. Fuck flam fluke, fuck half shoe, fuck glue glam, fuck glam through, we statue. Fuck well, fuck our will, we're idiots. Fuck well, fuck our will, we're idiots. Fucks by us, fuck bind spell, we cakewalk. Fuck suspect, we foretell, we seance. I think that last line is really crisp. I do think that fuck suspect, we foretell, we seance is the strongest lyric in this song.
What is Cakewalk ketamine?
So wait, say that again.
Is Cakewalk ketamine? Because anytime K is in something, I'm
Cakewalk.
Cakewalk. Is it said? Is it said like? Because like that's the whole thing, right? Like is the enunciation of certain words. It's like I know that there's some stuff that like I wish I could point to a specific lyric off the dome, but it is like an old trick to like keep things sort of mealy in your mouth so that people don't know which thing you're saying, because you could also be saying both things because they're both applicable.
May I give her one 30-second still monetizable clip?
Oh, it's for sure Cakewalk. It's for sure Cakewalk. But I say it's for sure Cakewalk, but it's being played. It's being relayed through at least like 2 interfaces, so it could have been filtered out in the process.
This is true. I was gonna say, I think it's like,
Because
I think I
my
can.
point is, I really wouldn't
Yeah.
put it past Death Grips to put like a K-Walk line into a song, but it might not. It might just not be there.
Oh no, definitely not. You're like you're like Duncan Trussell hanging out with his agent. Doing too much cannabis. The but I don't know. For some reason, I had those lyrics like really stuck in my head. I've been in like a sort of a mood, and so I've been listening to the Powers That Be a lot.
Running
Mostly because I think
through
it's
me.
no. The do you know how many times a day I think smoke coming out my fingers again?
I have no idea how many times you take that a day, but it's
In
impressive
fact,
that you do.
I wrote a fucking. I have a poem that I wrote that begins and ends with the smoke comes out of my fingers. But I don't know what it is. Mostly, I think it's just that music above a certain level of like complexity / followability makes me calm. Just because there aren't any patterns I can like that I have previous negative associations to, or could form new ones to. Or I guess there are less patterns. And also, I really fucking love the Powers. I think it's really strong. But the fuck me out, voila transition is really hard. It's ooh boy. Anyway,
I'm trying to remember what the last music I listened to was. Because I really haven't been on like a music kick recently. I say that, but I think I probably have been playing like some Suicide Boys like as my background noise when I walk places, and just not even considering it because it's all up here. It's all up here. I have all the associations to be able to sing along with all the songs that I don't know any of the lyrics to.
yeah.
I'm like, no. I give me like 5 seconds, I'll catch the vibe, but I can go along with it 100%. But
Hold on. I wish for a second I was like, where's my cell phone? Like I had a Nokia cell phone that I could play that sound on.
oh my gosh, I used to have one of those like little MP3 players. I bought it when my I kept getting my phone taken, and so not like robbed, but like familially robbed for
Yeah,
purposes
back
of,
when you can get robbed.
yeah,
Yeah.
back when I could get robbed, familially robbed for like the purposes of make you a better person, and probably to be fair, hey, that's a pretty valid parenting technique. Just like, hey, you're looking at too many ISIS beheadings online, like we gotta tone it down. Our kids are savage. Like I don't think.
No, definitely.
Do you have a disorder, or are you just watching gore clips?
It's true. Like I think there should definitely be a date on finding out that you have the power to take someone's head off. Like
Oh, for sure.
There should be a hot second before you realize that you could just do that.
Yeah, 18th or 21st birthday should just be like a Clockwork Orange, like sit down,
Oh!
family video reel, and you go, and then you're like, and that's the real world. All the school was preparing you psychologically for this.
Oh man. One, I was gonna say that I listened to I rediscovered Stop Staring at the Shadows. I forgot that album came out like after last February. I forgot that they came out entirely. And like I was listening to like All Dogs Go to Heaven. It's such a crisp opening.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I'm trying to think about. I don't know that if that. It really depends. Raising kids is like one of the things that I was thinking about that. Definitely every hypothetical version of the future that I imagine, which I'm like actually content. I have a family of some sort, right? But I do think there are many ways in which the beginning of forming your own family could definitely make me feel more alienated than I've ever felt. Like in Mike Birbiglia's stand-up special, the new one or whatever, he talks about having a kid and how observing firsthand that the mother-child relationship is the closest human relationship, and as a dad, you're sort of just like a very close spectator on that, and that creates like a lot of feelings, but also. For sure, I was introduced to death in the wrong way. I was fucked up about it for a long time. And so I'm thinking that, like, I don't know if the answer is wait until you're 18.
I would
Right?
like to
But
have like either far more verbal parenting, like on my part, or like far less. Like okay, so your father's gonna take you into the forest, and you're not gonna say words, and you're gonna come back with like several animals, and those are gonna feed us for a year. Like that type of, like, you're gonna learn to tread so that no man or beast can hear you, or
that
you're
it's
going
an
to
important
be
skill.
spat with the wisdom of the ancients.
No, I would like to be able to. I would love an aspect of my future abandoned families that I can go like, and everyone will be like. That's my, like. I think that the ability to communicate in an unspoken manner with people who you weren't born in the same litter as is really fun. The thing I was going to say isn't related at all. Can I say
Oh,
something?
actually, that's very true. Because yeah, there's almost nothing better than like having a good coworker or something where you can just
Oh
like
yeah,
be like, just give him one of those.
no, exactly.
And
John, we
you both
had
know what
such
you're
a
looking
time
at.
to put it.
Oh, it's still good, still good. Rest in peace.
Rest of to the past. Oh man, I was watching a video about time travel the other day, and I was like, I guess I do sort of like. I'm not a dude who understands the physical world at that heavy duty a level. Like, I would say that it's above the layman, but not parallel. Or I guess, yeah, like not at the same level as anyone who is capable of actually interpreting a new theory for everything. But I was watching a video about time travel the other day, like a really long video about how time travel is probably impossible. And if time travel wasn't impossible, what would time travel be like? And I was like, I guess I do sort of believe that causality can't be violated. I was thinking about that, and I was like, wow, I guess I really do believe that. Like, I was trying to work out, because causality is really weird, and time is really weird. And I definitely don't understand what those things are at all. Like, I can put a single number to what those things are. If you're like, all right, what is time from a mathematical perspective? I watched a video yesterday that told me that the amount of that your rate of subjective experience time is related to your total mass energy, and that fucking the more, like, the less mass energy you have relative to your kinetic energy, you have your subjective experience of time is slower. But I think the reason that mass energy and time experience are correlated is for physics reasons that I definitely don't understand. Because, oh boy, John, I don't even know.
Yeah, okay. So the Eric Weinstein thing that I've been really Eric Dub that I've been really appreciating is that in many camera angles, he'll do a thing where, like, he'll be looking at people, and then one of his eyes will just shift directly to the camera lens. And I'm like, I think that's fantastic, because I also have a little bit of a eye, and that's a good move to really just liz out with your eye like that.
I can't do it. I really can't do it.
Because, like,
but that man, Eric Weinstein, like, I wish.
But it makes me believe that he has a fundamental understanding of physics, because he can see. He can see everything.
He can see in 14 different directions simultaneously. That's how he knows the manifold is 14 dimensions.
I absolutely appreciate his focus on the observation, like on the tools of observation, or the observer, because in, like, any experiment, like I think that, like, with the, I don't know, like, Schrodinger equations or anything, but, like, with the or whatever, with pretty much every experiment, right, which is what, like, what is the observer's impact on the results of the experiment. I think that can't be, like, undermined in almost any context. Maybe not any. Maybe I don't have enough of an understanding of any context, but I think it's important no matter what. Like if you're sitting in a room and somebody's, like, just a sociologist that's infiltrated your get together or whatever, you're like, why is that one dude being, like, real quiet over there? Or, like, why is that one dude making, like, why does he even know what the fuck are we doing here?
I don't know. I think that answer is sort of cheating, because humans are wired to detect the presence and behavior of other humans, and so human-centric experiments definitely will notice humans, or I guess no matter who your human subject is, more likely than not, they'll notice another human behaving strangely for the purposes of gathering data. And I think there's probably like a medullary scale, which it doesn't really matter. Like, this is an experiment dog. We have a robot. It's a chainsaw robot, cuts down a tree. Tree gonna fall? Could know it's there. I bet it still happens. But I think as you get closer and closer to like operating on particles whose momentum and position you can't observe at the same time, right? Like once you get to that level, like where classical mechanics fall apart, which I think is larger. I think it's larger than I'm willing to admit. When I say larger than I'm willing to admit, is because like I don't understand quantum mechanics at all. But like magnetism seems to be a macro quantum effect, right? Like my understanding of magnetism currently is that it's a macro effect of electron spin. I don't know what electron spin is, but I guess it's a state that electrons can have. And we know that smell in animals is likely adapted to at least Well, have I talked to you about the fly chemoreceptor thing?
Perhaps, but by all means.
Essentially, they did an experiment with flies where, like, they have like a specific molecule of a scent that probably smells like rotting meat or like some shit. Cavardine, let's say. It wasn't cavardine, but cavardine is a chemical that smells like rotting flesh. So let's say you synthesize some cavardine, and you're like, hey, flies, there's some cavardine over here, bro. Right? We assume that they have a receptor that perfectly fits the cavardine molecule, so when it atomizes from the surface, it goes right, and then they're like, oh, that's fucking rotting flesh. Let me eat that shit and lay my babies in it, right? But when you bombard like that cavardine molecule with neutrons and you change its molecular weight, it's the energy level that it has to drop essentially changes because of that additional particle. So it seems that that change in quanta. This is a Niels Bohr thing. Quanta are strata is a useful term. The strata of that the energy level of elementary particles jump. Like they don't just do so in like a linear continual matter. Like they need to jump specific levels. And so if you change the molecular weight, you change the specific levels of like the specific level of energy steps that this molecule operates at, right? And so flies no longer were able to detect whatever. I'm bastardizing the experiment a little bit, but essentially their behavior toward that scent changed. Like they weren't able, like they didn't interact with it the same way. I don't know if they weren't able to perceive it or that they just didn't perceive it as the same thing, but that seems to indicate that like whatever chemoreceptor protein or whatever is in your smellovators up there is probably attuned to the jump in energy, like the quantum energy states of the molecules that you inhale. And so for like, you could say that if that sensory phenomena at the real, because smell is a macro thing. Smell is super macro as far as shit goes. And all the organisms, well, no, I won't say all the organisms. Birds can't smell, but like a lot of the organisms can smell shit. And so if we discovered that in one of our simpler, older organisms, because flies are like, well, I won't say older because modern flies are just as new as us, probably newer because their first death rate is a lot faster. But we are seeing that an arthropod, and arthropods are old creatures, has, I guess, built into its fundamental perception, the ability to distinguish between like very small minutia, or I guess, yeah. So it seems that quantum effects can have impact on macro senses, and if quantum effects can have impacts on macro senses, then like who knows what might be a macro version of a quantum effect? Probably even like human consciousness, maybe. But
Possible.
All that being said, I forget where I was going after the fly thing. It took a hot second to get to the fly thing. I didn't know where I was going.
I was going to say, this sounds very much like the pitch where they're like, now, weed's been around for a number of years. You have a receptor for it in your brain.
Oh, no. I definitely. Oh, wait. What were we talking about before just now? I know we were talking about Eric Dubb, but I forget why. Oh, because magnets are a quantum effect.
Magnets are a quantum effect.
Niels Bohr. What the fuck was? Man, wow, that's a bummer. Listeners, take notes.
Take notes. Take notes, remind us.
You need to take notes. Take notes.
Mhm.
All that being said, though, I don't know, man. I really felt like I was going somewhere. Why would Oh, I think I was going to say something about the motherfucking Copenhagen Interpretation. Oh, because you were talking about the. No,
Sorry,
okay,
that's the funniest
yeah.
name. We got to make the joke right off the bat.
Yeah.
Interpreted doing what?
The fucking because the Schrodinger's cat experiment, the cat's either dead or alive. I believe the either dead or aliveness comes from the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, at least according to this time travel. I watched yesterday, it was a refresher. I don't know anything about quantum mechanics. But whereas in the many worlds interpretation, there are a very large or infinite series of universes in which the cat's both dead, alive, et cetera, and any permutation of which like there's one where the cat's still dead, but one atom is like here instead of there, or something like that. And so I think that my joke was going to be that Eric Weinstein can rotate his eye 720 degrees, and that's how he knows he has an intuitive understanding of spinners. Because he's like, well, in order for me, if I'm looking at you, I can
if
turn
you're
my
talking about
eye.
having an intuitive understanding of spinners, he had Riley Reid on his podcast. So
he's got peer review, he's got double verification.
And no diss, because I haven't watched that episode as of yet, but my understanding is that she was like part of like the YouTube skeptic community, whatever that means.
The intellectual dark web or whatever.
No.
Oh no, the YouTube skeptic community.
Yeah. Okay. Which I was raised on that shit, but apparently she also just like goes to like lectures. Which is great, which I think is fantastic. He was like, what am I gonna do with all this porn money? I'm gonna go to like MIT lectures. I'm gonna go to like absolutely. I'm gonna sit down like because step 1, get money. Step 2, learn about the natural world.
Oh no, surely these are the only things. But if I'm Eric Dubb and I'm looking at you, like let's say you're Riley Reid's cleavage. I'm looking this way toward my camera, right? And I see it. I'm like, I gotta look back at the camera, so I go here. That's 90 degrees. Then I have to travel to get back. And that's how the what is it, the teacup thing, the thing that he does. Hold on, here, let me back up. I think I can get it. Hold on. There it is. Oh, there it is. Hell yeah. And that's, listeners, that's how reality works.
My favorite thing still, not my favorite thing. I still quite enjoy the ability to just like really just I forget what the phrase for it might be. Like windmill your arm with a glass in it and all the fluid stays inside.
Oh yeah.
It's quite
using
nice.
yield. Centrifugal, depending on who you are and how much of a dick you are about it. I think I used to be a real dick about centrifugal force. I used to be a real dick about a lot of things, but one of them that I was just a dick in my own head about is I was like, what do you mean centrifugal force? Show me the. What do you mean? Don't you mean inertia? No, but anyway, oh man. Listeners, if anyone ever says centrifugal,
paid for cabs with knowledge for a while.
Listeners, if you're ever in a cab and oh boy, you tell them go this way instead of that way, you slip them a 20. He takes those quarters real fast. You're gonna learn a lot about centrifugal.
I really wish that all of our unhoused people were just idiot savants, and they were like, okay, no, I can't be bothered with putting a roof over my head. I need to just walk. I need to walk to a better climate so I can mutter about how the fucking.
No, I'm almost there. Almost there. Like you're trying to hold.
And then, like at the end, they just write it all down.
Yeah, you're trying to hold your theory of everything in your working memory. That is definitely a good reason to mutter to yourself.
Yeah. And honestly, it may be happening, and at least, hey, there's still hierarchies among the unhoused. If we are to believe that our understanding of hierarchies is correct, and so there is probably one or two real bright types out there who are just like, no, I know how these things work. I know how these
Oh no,
things
surely.
work. These are just nicer people.
Like some cat who's like, man, I really I really would love to have a home, but I can't stop reciting these words in my head. It's 30,000 pages now, or something like that. Like, because I think that Solzhenitsyn, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who wrote the Gulag Archipelago, a lot. He wrote the majority of it in his head while in gulags. And then just like wrote it down later. And I think that's baller shit. My working memory used to be with the 3 C's. It used to be, I swear. But I could steal your credit card. I'm serious. but I haven't attempted to do any like rote memorization recently. But I don't know if I'd be able to generate. Yeah.
Next pod. What are we rote memorizing?
What are we rote memorizing? Let me see. I'm always trying to incorporate some new Lawrence Ferlinghetti. He's a beast poem that I enjoy. I know a little bit of Sometime During Eternity, which is a poem about Jesus, but I don't. Sometime During Eternity and some square place, some Galilee, some guys. Like I only know the first couple stanzas. Like I know what it sounds like, the poem, but I don't know the words.
One of my favorite bits from the Weinstein saga, Dub Boy saga, recently has been, if you look around, like if you subtract the screens from a room, how can you tell it's not 1971? And the answer, like in terms of chemical engineering, in terms of mechanical like there's very little to suggest other than the screens in your room. And like some stuff I think he says.
The solder is lead free.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. But comparing that 50-year gap to what the world would have looked like 50 years before 1971, it's like from 1920 to 1971, major improvements culture-wide. 1971, like the thing I'm going to plug at the end, or right now actually, is you should go to whatthefuckhappenedin1971.com. It's a bunch of fun graphs. It just has to do with like labor economics and those sorts of things. But it was plugged on a pod, and looking into it.
But how would your success with that game go, do you think?
How would my success with that game go? In what sense?
No, like how would you? I guess because I was thinking about like
I have
could
blacklight posters from 1970s in my room, so.
Yeah, so okay. And I was gonna say like that lead-free solder is sitting on a desk with like next to a 3D printer, and I guess
I have a recorder that would make Nixon mad.
Ooh, yeah. Let me think. That's a good question, man. That is a really good question. How would I prove that it's not 1972? I guess I have. Wow. Okay, so if it's not for this lead-free solder, it's not for this 3D printer. I have an electric bike. Okay, so man, I guess fortunately I surrounded myself with a bunch of modern technological artifacts.
How modern is like an electric bike? Because I mean, in like some of the old like German textbooks and stuff I had in school, some of those like the word has existed. I don't know when like the U.S. is not necessarily even the greatest example of that, because like.
Oh, big doink lithium battery. This battery weighs maybe like 10 pounds, and I think the lithium battery, like, well, I won't say 10 pounds, but definitely in excess of 5. And I would say, I'd say like a rechargeable lithium-ion battery in excess of 5 pounds is definitely modern, like post-1990 type shit. because battery technology sucks. Oh, dude, that's how all of us could tell. If you rip something open, if you could find a lithium-ion battery, you're in the future. Well, at least you're past 1990.
Oh my
battery
gosh!
technology
Oh
is
my
trash.
gosh! Are we discovering that tweakers are just time travelers? Like when they disassemble shit, they're like, wait a minute. Where's the crystals? Where's the crystals? Shit.
Okay, just hear me out. So I would say that the strongest argument against time travel and like FTL travel being possible is that like if time travel were possible, inventing time travel at one point is essentially like inventing. Let's just like if time travel is a technology, we should see time travelers literally everywhere, right? And if I guess so that's the primary. It would be interesting if like no, time travelers just aren't what you think they are. They're just all tweakers. Like everyone who figures out how to travel through time tweaks. Oh wait, hold on. Like let's say you live in like some form of
Yeah. Sorry, not to interrupt. But the idea, fuck, what's that movie even called? Where Interstellar, where they're just like whispering through the manifold. They're just like. And that's where like the aliens or ghost, I think, idea comes from. That is for sure a Suicide Boys song, but also, I believe, on the Travis Barker collab. But like, yeah. So I guess like it's a similar idea to if interstellar travel exists, and like very good interstellar travel exists. We leave Earth, and find an effective way to get to other planets, and we get back to Earth at some point. We would be the aliens to ourselves because whatever version of humanity is left, presumably doesn't have that tech, unless I don't know.
Or at least would have diverged so well. I guess over the course of like the timelines for interstellar travel are like, I think even if we could travel. Hold on, let me think about this for 1 second, because the Alpha Centauri system is 4.5 light years away, and so definitely we can't. I think the shortest. I think if we hit fusion, we could hit like 10% of light speed or something like that, and then at 10% of light speed, that would maybe take like. Let me think about that. Alpha Centauri round trip. So that's like roughly 5 years, 10%. That's like 50 years, I guess. If we could travel, does that make sense? That checks out. I know it's simple math. I'm just like, but if we could, I guess 50 years isn't all that much divergence, but that is the closest other star, and so traveling to farther stars presumably means super duper time lag. And also, probably any colonization fleet you would send out is self-sufficient because of the super duper time lag. And I guess outside of signals, any materials or help that you would send would travel much slower. And so, yeah, I do think that. Oh, I'm sorry. The thing I was going to say about time traveling tweakers is that if you were from a culture that was like you were like human pets of artificial intelligence, and then those AI developed time travel, and you were like, sick, I'm going to go to the past, and you're like, oh no, none of my comforts are here, and then you just do drugs the entire time.
Oh yeah. Planet of the Apes, by the way, 1968. So right in that zone.
It is right in that zone.
Also, like, imagine how fucking like okay, did we have space technology sort of in the works before Kennedy said we're gonna get to space in this decade, or was he just like, let's fucking do it, and then he fucking inspired everybody because there wasn't shit else to do?
That's a really good question, John. That's something we should talk about at a different time. I'm going to jot that down because I think that could be like a reading Wikipedia of the podcast episode.
That might be a good one.
But the origins of the fucking space program, because it was definitely only an aggressor tactic. We only got to space because you ever think, isn't it great that we got to space instead of bombing each other to death?
That's the best that's the best use for like why our PTSD was so strong that we're like, oh, fuck. We created nukes. We need to get off this rock because we're going to use them. They're going to be everywhere. Your child's going to be able to make nukes in pre-K. I don't know.
You're going to have a nuclear family more ways than one. All your nucleus will be real close to each other. You'll be atomic soup.
You get your family in a bottle throw it into space because this rock
Even
wanted
though
to go boom.
super not good for our environment. Well, but we could be in space like mofos. We were willing to detonate a few more bombs in Earth orbit, just because one of the best ways. Just okay. So hear me out, listeners. I'm asking you in the comments below. What's the most energy dense thing you know of, dog? What's
This
the
is something
most?
I have been thinking about in sea-studding platforms, indeed, because if like tidal growth, right? Like if the ocean expands to such a point that all of our islands to launch shit off of are enveloped by the sea, then how the hell are we gonna launch the rockets from equatorial zones that have like the lowest whatever?
Oh no, that's true. And so there are so many islands that are just like I don't know how many islands are really close to the surface of the ocean, but you're missing it by like a couple hundred feet. But I bet there are like a fair number of islands like that where you're like, this isn't an island. It's just it's a shallow spot. It's a shallow spot. Give me one moment. Fucking. Oh yeah, but in terms of like power density, in terms of like releasing the most energy in the shortest period of time, show me something better than the nuclear weapon. Really show me. Point at it, because you're lying to me. You're lying to me. Because fissile material is super energy dense, and the chemical explosives are super energy dense. So if you're looking for, how are we supposed to add a bunch of high energy to just fucking space? Blowing up a bunch of bombs. You need a pusher plate. There's a spring in there. Look up Project Orion. It's pretty sick. But I've got that down. I'm gonna do some research about the origins of the space program, because that must be really interesting. I feel like we've had the technology for a hot second, and I know that Vera von Braun was interested in, or at least my understanding is that von Braun was interested in extraterrestrial rocketry.
Makes sense.
I think. Well, and also he was a pioneer. Like, the V2 was a motherfucker. I'm sorry if anyone that you are related to got V2'd. Well, I guess all the people who got V2 don't have. I don't think they were descendants launching, if you know what I'm saying. But multi-stage rocketry has definitely been around since like mid-World War II, and I guess multi-stage rocketry is the fundamental.
When was like the Roswell thing? Because like when was like the theoretical like Roswell crash supposed to have happened? Because if it was pre-World War II, it would certainly make me believe that all of our advances in technology began because we were like, oh, this is how you do it.
No, 1947.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Damn. I'm glad I didn't have to get on my Fermi paradox soapbox, because I guess my stance on aliens in recent years has shifted to aliens probably aren't a thing, mostly just from the perspective of the Fermi paradox. Like, I would say that abiogenesis is probably nearly impossible. Like, abiogenesis seems like really, really hard for the generation of living matter from non-living matter. Listeners, I believe that it's something like only 1/millionth of the total matter is on rocky planets, right? And so if we have to assume that life has to start on a rocky planet of some kind, or at least at its best for carbon-based life to start on a planet with a rocky core, or rocky planet, then we already are down to like 1/millionth of the total matter, and then the number of planets in the habitable zone, and then abiogenesis is likely really, really, really hard and takes a really long time to develop, and even then, any life would spend the vast majority of its history thus far as microbes as we have, and I don't know, dog. I've been thinking a lot about the Fermi paradox. It seems like my stance in recent years has adjusted that like getting to be a civilization as we are is very likely improbable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but so I think that aliens almost certainly exist. But I mean, just but given the scale of things, but
no, but like okay, when I say that, because I would say that because my stance is roughly antithetical. I would say it's all pretty. I'm pretty sure that aliens aren't real, because if aliens were real, we would probably. I'm saying that.
How many people are looking up there, though? How many people are looking? And then also, just given the vast expanse of time.
No. Okay.
This would be my contention. It's just that this could all go away tomorrow. But like the atmosphere is a whole thing, right? Like having an atmosphere stable enough so that whatever life is on your planet doesn't just get
before you get there, not only do you need to have an atmosphere stable enough, presumably for carbon-based life, but you need to have a planet that is heavy enough, has a magnetosphere to hold an atmosphere. You need to have an atmosphere that is, I guess, presumably conducive to carbon-based life. You need to what if there are places like on Jupiter, there's always hurricanes. What if there was always a hurricane? I don't know if stable life could develop and always a hurricane, et cetera, et cetera. But so that's just. When I say that I've come to the conclusion that probably aliens aren't a thing, it's because there are too many things like that where there are almost a very small percentage of the planets are rocky planets, right? What percentage of those planets, I guess, have liquid water on their surfaces, right? So, or in the habitable zone, probably even smaller. Okay, now you have liquid water on your surface. I guess, do you have the energy flux necessary from your sun in order to generate life? I don't know. That's probably weird if you're tidally locked or don't have a moon, or if your orbit's more chaotic. And even if you do have energy flux and liquid oceans, does your climate change gradually enough for life to evolve? And when I say life to evolve, I mean like soap bubble RNA life, right? And so once you're at the stage of soap bubble RNA life, okay, do you get eukaryotic cells? Eukaryotic cells took a long time. Life on Earth has existed for 1.8 billion years, but I don't think we've had eukaryotes for that long. And so that's just multicellular life. And I don't know. I guess my growing perspective has become that we really are lottery winners. But I would. You won a lottery, but I don't know. But the thing is, there are mega millions in every state. Would be my contention. But this is true.
Yeah.
I feel like we would.
How do you feel about because I've just seen this. I fucking hate this thing because it just gives me things to consider with no context. With no context.
That's a good way to put it.
No context and no community around which to consider them. But the Carl Sagan quote that's if we find a planet and it has even a basic cellular life on it, that planet belongs to those whatever that form of life. There's something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's your question in relation to that statement? Or your what's that?
Would you agree with that statement in the sense that life if aliens are real, it is so unlikely that they are that we should just be piss off of that planet and just be I guess. Or at the stage that we find another planet with cellular life on it, just basic forms of it, that we then go, oh, it's probably everywhere. It's probably everywhere then.
That's a good question. And so I would say that if we found multicellular life, or I'm sorry, not multicellular life, if we found microbial life in two different places, when I say two different places, I mean any two places, I would probably say, okay, life is pretty common. Abiogenesis definitely isn't impossible. That probably just means that becoming an intelligent animal is possible. Because humans are the most intelligent animals, but most animals are doing just fine and are much less intelligent than us. And so you might say that becoming a weird, neurotic, highly visual, manipulative, highly social ape is such a weird niche, and that inhabiting the niche of being just smart enough to use tools, just social enough to hold stable societies, and being intelligent enough to specialize so you can keep bootstrapping your civilization and your technology, fitting into that niche, no matter what your biological phenotype, is probably pretty niche. And so I would say that if the buck doesn't stop with abiogenesis, the buck probably stops with civilization, because civilization's weird tech. That being said, there are serious. I don't think if we found life on another planet that's caused to not. It depends on your program, I guess, whatever space administration there is. But I would say that's not really cause to not do anything. I would definitely watch it. I would probably chill, depending on how populated the system was. My thinking, though, is if they're like eukaryotes there, hold on, let me look up
You know, like
how
the
long.
you know, like the pathogens or whatever that can remain in not in isolation, but like the type, or not, I don't even know if pathogen, the sort of like, I think like anthrax type thing,
Yeah.
right? Like where it's like I don't know, just like I don't even know if that's the correct thing I'm looking for, but like the like slime molds and stuff that can stay in sort of
Like near.
like a sort of like cryo state or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Okay,
Like they crypsis? Is that what that's called?
yeah,
No, like
some yes,
that hibernating state. Oh yeah. So
hibernation state, real solid. Um,
yeah.
so imagine that sort of life emerges. I don't know what sort of environmental preconditions you would need for that to happen on any given planet, but I would love the idea that most of space is inhabited. It's just inhabited by small forms of life like that, because like they rock bumps into it, they all just get flung into space dust, and they occupy most of what we would call outer space.
Oh
Like most
well,
asteroid belts are, yeah,
panspermia is a heavy duty theory, and the reason well, when I say heavy duty, I mean it's not as like life came from somewhere else. Isn't
yeah.
as
So abiogenesis could happen like anywhere, right? Like or
well
not, well,
exactly.
but not anywhere, but like say it's ready to occur. Panspermia is, I think, probably the mechanism by which that would go
Well,
places. But
the reason that panspermia is a legitimate theory is because abiogenesis seems really difficult, and so some people don't like panspermia because you're pushing the abiogenesis buck back, right? You're saying that like, oh, it just didn't abiogenesis didn't occur here, but it had to occur somewhere, so there's still a problem with the fundamental foundation of life going from dirt to animated matter. The my if we found microorganisms on like Mars or on like Europa or whatever, definitely I wouldn't say definitely panspermia is true, but I'd be like, all right, panspermia is probably true. We definitely got hit with a series of comets that had some goober on them or something. No, like Jupiter brought us some goober comets, and we were just a result of that. But I think that the give me 1 second. Oh,
somebody
also
went.
the
Somebody
oldest
went.
the oldest eukaryotic cells are 2.1 million years old. Yeah, 2.1 million years old, I guess. So, well, no, I'm sorry, no, 2.1 billion years old. Yeah, there we go, 2.1 billion years old. With the, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm being correct about that. Yeah, no, I think that is the case. So, no, that seems old. No, I'm sorry, that seems young because I'm pretty sure life has only been around on this planet for like 1.8 billion years, and 2,100 millions of years. Like 2,100 million years is 2.1 billion years. Yeah, whatever. So I guess the concept that I center on is something like, if we were to discover eukaryotes, it's probably going to take them 1 billion years to become the sort of thing that could even recognize a species that wasn't its own in a meaningful manner, like you're somebody else, right?
Oh yeah, you
It'll
got to
take a
get that
million
light
years.
panel. You got to get that
Oh,
light panel that goes
well,
predator.
but yeah, so like if we find like, oh shit, what do you have, mitochondria? That's pretty sick, alien mitochondria on Europa, right? But more likely than not, unless if it was not in our own solar system or something, it would. I feel like we would. I feel like you have to make a game time decision. You're like, all right, let's make the slime mold sentient dog. Let's make a slime mold hive mind, or let's leave a bunch of scientists here, or let's leave forever
Oh yeah,
because
that was my other contention, because I think that once my position may be revised in that, oh yeah, for sure, once you get to space, you got to start messing with, well, probably before you get into space, you got to get your ability to create life forms for environmental niches which you do not occupy on this planet
I agree with that.
real
That's
well.
true.
So you got to get that tech up.
Okay.
But at the point that we're leaving
Yeah.
niche inhabitants of planets, we're just fucking making aliens. We're just making aliens. We're making
No,
aliens like a 3D sim. Like
oh no, exactly. I'm totally down for the concept of like, if aliens don't exist currently, they definitely will, because I'm assuming the humans will probably like, honestly, we're probably going to uplift a couple species in that. Like when I say uplift a couple species, I mean, I don't think it would be really awful to just breed a lineage of crows and squirrels to collect garbage and take them to recycling facilities. And then, oh, what are these crows and squirrels becoming more intelligent progressively? I would be fine. I would be fine if at some point someone was like, "Hey, this animal should probably have rights," or like at some point, like we'll probably see I don't know if we will see AI rights
crows
becoming a
and
thing.
squirrels fighting wars with nuclear weapons, but they're this big.
Ah,
Like it just looks like an acorn, but when you drop it, it just goes.
that's funny. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, they'd be killing people. They'd have to use some really heavy-duty isotopes for them to go critical that small. I hope we have the answer. Like, one of the reasons I think we'll definitely be a lot better at genetic modification before we go to space is because one of the biggest concerns in space is radiation. And imagine how much mass you could save on radiation shielding if you just be like, nah,
the whole
all
bone,
you guys just get a retrovirus that makes you cancer proof. That's what happens.
That
if
and
you
like the bone density thing, right?
In that, yeah. Because, well, I guess, yes, probably to a certain extent. Because we know that you don't need all of Earth gravity, but no gravity sucks. And so I bet there's a medium that you could even adjust people for if they were going to be like on station or on ship for a long period of time. I don't know. I don't know, dog. I'm really just having like a lot of out there like Fermi paradox thoughts that I'm struggling to articulate. do you have anything? Do you have anything you want to
I'm trying to
this
think if this is
episode?
what. I was gonna say we should probably call it too. I'm trying to figure out if this is what thinking feels like, or if I'm just really, really feeling my iced coffee this early in the morning. Also, I need to get out of this sort of loop that I'm in with that because talking about your bevy. What do I want to be? Some type of like 34-year-old who's like, oh, haven't had my coffee today. Don't talk to me unless I've had my coffee.
Sean, I can't hear you. I'm muted if I don't have
I need to
coffee.
prepare for these environmental issues where we don't have caffeine.
Oh, definitely. I don't know, Doug. We should definitely. I'm gonna write that down. We should talk about the Fermi paradox more because I'm gonna link you to
I'll
some
look into it.
interesting shit.
If you have any sort of pro or really simple baby like Wally type videos, Wally education system type videos to send me so that I can pick up on the fundamentals and nod at the correct places, it would be appreciated.
Oh yeah. These, definitely. The Fermi paradox is so interesting. Aliens, if you're listening to this and I told you that you don't exist, I'm sorry. But remember, if you listen to the last episode, which I don't know if it's up yet, but definitely will be up by the time that this is up, surely, I don't fuck with non-chordates, so you better respond. You better respond or we can't be friends. Like, we can hang out. I might... Like, don't get me wrong, I think that some arthropods are really beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, in the way that they're like I would interact with the colony, you know? But, oh boy, I don't fuck with individuals that don't respond. So, yeah.
Check out WTF happened in 1971 so that maybe I can come to a better understanding of the material. This is Ben.
This has been. Oh, also, follow us on Instagram. That's the
Plug it.
yeah.
Plug it.
Yeah. Subscribe to this channel, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, all these things. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. Drop a like. Subscribe.
We should have a bot. We should have a bot that does this.
Yeah.
We miss Craig. I miss Craig.
Peace. Okay.